Hi, this is Pat Ray. We're talking about anger management today. So, what I need from you is to get a piece of paper right now. I need you to print your first and last name. If you put today's date on there and the type of the group, which is anger management. The topic that we're going to be talking about is what's it like to be angry? So, what is it like to be angry? The other thing I need right now is for you to, on that piece of paper, I need you to write down what it's like for you to be angry. Just give like 3 or 4 words. Now, in order to to receive full credit for this group, you need to complete your progress note, complete any assignments that I give you, and turn those in by taking a picture of it, sending it to me either by email, pat@changeisAchoice.org, or text 217-766-9132, and you can also message me on Facebook. So these videos and assignments are also on Facebook. And that's Pat's Prevention and Treatment Services on Facebook. That's all one word, Pat's Prevention and Treatment Services. So today, as I said, we are going to talk about anger. When was the last time you were angry? You may bring it to mind right now. What happened? Who was involved? What was said or done? What was your part in it? How did you feel besides anger? Anger is a secondary emotion. So did you feel hurt, embarrassed, sad, shocked? And what were your thoughts about what happened? Okay, so my notes are to the side. I'm going to read you a few brief scenarios. Maybe I'll put it over here. Okay, so I'm going to read a few brief scenarios. What is it like to be angry? So here is one. Jim is traveling to work along a busy street when a car stops in front of his bus. Some time goes by and the traffic lights turn from red to green and back again. Still nothing happens, and Jim starts to feel tension rising and a tight feeling in his stomach. He begins to curse the driver in his mind. Stupid, lazy, selfishly holding everyone up. He'll make me late. The feeling builds up. He begins to feel hot. Someone brushes against him by accident. He turns on them and swears and pushes them away roughly. Okay. So for Jim, that's what it's like to be angry. Now let's look at Michelle. Michelle is feeling tired and she has a headache, so she sends the children out of doors to play, telling them not to disturb her. After half an hour, she hears a loud noise and shouting, so she goes out to see what's happening. The youngest child is sitting on the path and crying with a small cut on her chin, and the older ones are just looking on and doing nothing. She feels relief that nothing more serious appears to be wrong, and then a sudden sense of fury takes hold. She thinks, why can't they just do as they are told? And why do they always let me down? She gets angrier and feels a pounding in her head. Her legs start to tremble and things seem to look misty or unreal, as though a curtain has come down. All she can think about is grabbing the nearest of the older children. She thinks, I'll teach you not to do not to do it again. Okay, so that's what it's like for Michelle. Now let's see if we can go one step further. After work, you go to pick up a newspaper from your local shop. You're waiting to pay when a couple push in front of you as though you weren't there. You try and keep your temper and not say anything, telling yourself it's not worth getting upset about. They take their time. Finally, as they reach the door, one of them looks back and catches your eye for a few seconds. Then she turns around and says something to her friend, and they both laugh as they leave the shop. You feel angry and you think, they've made a fool of me. The rest of your day is spoiled. You can't relax and you feel irritable. Okay, so that's what it's like sometimes to be angry. You may have been in similar situations. Everyone feels angry at one time or another. Anger is not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It just is a feeling. It is how we express it that leads to consequences, either good or bad. So, for some people, anger is just an occasional thing. It doesn't hold a big place in their life. For others, it becomes a problem because it gets worse and it gets in the way of normal life. Maybe you know somebody in your life, or maybe it's even you, that gets angry over little things and allows it to spoil your day, allows you to lash out at others that had nothing to do with it. Okay. Anger becomes a problem when it becomes too strong, happens too often, and lasts too long, spoils relationships or work, and in particular leads to violence or aggression. So aggression, that's a word that I want you to think about. We can be aggressive in our speech, in our behavior, our gestures, many different ways, physically, of course. So think about that. Are you an aggressive person? Some people will say, yeah, I'm aggressive. I take on the world. Well, I'm not actually talking about that. I mean, sometimes you do have to be a little aggressive in order to make it, to get to your goals. However, I'm talking about aggression in a negative way, when it impacts others in a negative way, is hurtful to others or self. All right, so we know that stress is also related to anger, and some of them come from some of the things that cause anger come from the outside world. So background stresses, problems with others, deaths and practical problems, frustrating events or situations, stress, no time for self. And then this leads to that vicious cycle of anger where you have those thoughts in your head. We call them hot thoughts. That's your inner world. Hot thoughts, for example, he's putting me down. Mood, your mood is irritable, angry. You become enraged. You have bodily symptoms, heart racing. You feel tense, hot, or breathless. And then you have angry behavior that follows, where you attack, argue, run away, damage, whatever. And then it cycles back to more hot thoughts, more mood, more bodily sensations, and so an angry behavior. So there you go. Some of the things that we are talking about here today are hot thoughts. Thoughts can make you feel angry, but often people who have a problem with anger do not notice these thoughts. And so in order to gain control over our anger, we have to begin to recognize and challenge our thoughts. So these things that we're talking about are hot thoughts. Hot thoughts are angry thoughts that flash into your mind and make you feel worse. People tend to have similar thoughts happening again and again. For example, he is so stupid. You're making a fool out of me. You're selfish. I want to hurt you. I hate this place. Okay, so maybe you don't have those, but you might have some of your own. So give it a thought. On your paper, I want you to write down some of your hot thoughts. Hot thoughts. These hot thoughts are then backed up by ways of negative thinking. We call those thinking errors. For example, one big one is taking things personally. Everything that somebody says or does is about me, towards me, intended to hurt me or enrage me or push my buttons. So, people who take things personally often get hurt or feel hurt by what is said or done. Okay. Another one is ignoring the positive. Another thing that happens is people who get angry tend to focus, their thinking on negative or bad events and ignore any possible or good events. So that's where we may say, people never listen to me, that kind of thing. Then there is another thinking error, it's called perfectionism. This is where we expect, we expect ourselves to be perfect, to do everything perfectly. And even worse, we expect it from everybody else. That usually leads to anger. The next one in the next thinking error is called black and white thinking. Black and white, all or nothing, terms in common, terms that people who get angry have in common a lot. So, for example, I'm going to read something right quick. John was quite happy to offer, John has a friend, Paul, who had borrowed money from him, and John was quite happy to offer this loan and thought, Paul's a good friend. I know I can trust him. Paul has not offered to repay it after 2 weeks go by, and then John, who didn't like to mention it, has begun to think, he thinks I'm a soft touch. He thinks I'm an idiot. He becomes angry, and the next time he sees Paul, he begins to shout and make threats about what he will do if the money is not paid immediately. He thinks, if I don't show him, he'll take me for a ride. It might have been better for both if John had taken a middle approach and firmly asked Paul to repay the money earlier, rather than saying nothing or becoming very angry in response to the thought, he thinks I'm an idiot. He thinks I'm a soft touch. Okay. So that's some of the all or nothing examples. So now, what we're looking for in order to resolve or reduce or manage anger is actually looking for more balanced thoughts. So, for example, here is an angry thought. He is looking over here at me and thinks I'm stupid. Whoa. Balanced thought. He is looking over here, but I don't know what he is really thinking. That's the reality, isn't it? Here's an angry thought. They always let me down. More balanced thought is they sometimes behave badly, but at times they're really okay. Here's an angry thought. She just doesn't care about me. She's selfish. A more balanced thought is, I know she let me down, but she does care. She usually tries to be kind. So that's more accurate. So what I want you to do right now, as far as your assignment for today, I want you to make 2 columns. At the top of the first column, I want you to write angry thoughts. At the top of the second column, I want you to write balanced thoughts. Angry thoughts, balanced thoughts. Now, I want you to think about the past angry thoughts that you may have had. Like, he's a loser. Can't believe he said that to me. She must be nuts. Whatever it is, angry thoughts. And we have them, and you do too. You just might need to think about it for a minute. And then on the other column, I want you to write a more balanced thought. He's a loser. Sometimes he does make poor choices, but overall, he's a pretty good guy. He knows what he's doing. Or something along those lines. The idea is for you to identify thoughts that are angry thoughts, hot button thoughts, whatever thoughts, and put a more balanced statement in there. Because if we don't identify those thoughts that are driving us, we're going to continue to be angry. We're going to continue to have consequences based on that anger. If we're able to change the way we think about things, if we're able to catch those thinking errors that I was just talking about, are we taking things personally when it really has nothing to do with us? Are we ignoring the positive that other people do or that we do? You know, are we trying to be perfect and expect others to be perfect? Are we using black or white thinking, all or nothing thinking? So, check it out. List those angry thoughts and more balanced thoughts. That is one step in the direction of managing anger. Okay, so today, to pay for your group, you will either call me 217-766-9132 and pay over the phone with debit or credit, or you will mail a check or money order to Pat's, P-A-T-S, 300 South Broadway, Suite 110A as in Apple, in Urbana, Illinois, 61801. For full credit, I need to know what your name is, if you are associated with probation or parole or DCFS or whoever. I need to know if someone else is paying for your services, who they are, and what is your caseworker or probation officer's name, first and last, if you will. And then send me your progress notes, send me your assignment, pay for your services, and I will write you in the book as attended. Any questions, always email or text me. I'll do my best to get to you as soon as I can. Stay safe and stay well, and I hope that we see each other soon. Bye-bye.